I wasted years of my life in the gym making the same mistakes over and over. I was training hard, eating plenty of protein and staying consistent. Yet the results were painfully slow. My lifts barely moved, my physique stayed the same month after month, and I had no idea what I was doing wrong. That was until I learned these 5 mistakes that were holding me back. And once I fixed them, everything changed. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what those mistakes are, and more importantly, how to fix them so you don't waste years like I did. Mistake 1, which is probably one of the biggest, is not tracking your progressive overload. Unfortunately, this took me years to do, but the second I got my first program, even though it was a pretty shitty program, I made great results, just simply because I was tracking what I was lifting each week. Now, progressive overload just means the stress we place on our body, and the more stress we place upon it, as long as it's not too much, our body will adapt to it. So the 2 main things we want to do there is either lift more weight or more reps, or a combination of both. Let's say week 1, you're doing 3 sets of 8 at 100 kilos. Week 2, 3 sets of 8 at 102.5, 3 sets of 8 at 105 kilos, and so on. Same with the reps, we might go 8 reps, week 2, 9 reps, week 3, 10 reps, or could be a combination. Might be start at 100 kilos, not grams, kilos. Then week 2, we go 2 sets of 8 at 102.5, so we progress the weight there, and 1 times 9 at 100 kilos, progress them both, or it could even be a combination. You might do 2 by 9 at 102.5. Either way, all of that is progressively overloading your lifts, which means your body's going to get stronger and grow more muscle. Now, obviously not every week you're going to progress these things, but if you try your hardest to progress them, I can guarantee you most weeks you will, which means you're going to place more stress on the body, so it's going to get stronger and bigger. Now, to fix this problem, I'm going to plug my own program here. It's in the description. If your goal is muscle growth, the program's going to be great for you, and it's going to take care of the problem of tracking your progressive overload. Makes it simple. You can do it week over week. Mistake 2, and in my opinion, the biggest mistake most people do make, it's not training close to failure. So when we're training, we want to have majority of our sets with 1, maybe 2 reps left in the tank at the end. Most people stay very, very far away from this. What this is going to do is maximize mechanical tension, which is the prime driver of muscle growth. So if we had a graph and work off a thing called RIR, which is reps in reserve, so 10 would mean you have 10 reps left in the tank, 9, 8, 7, all the way down to 1 rep in reserve. 0 would mean it's a max effort, a failure set. On this side, we have stimulus. How much of a stimulus you're going to give your body to grow muscle, and reps in reserve. It's going to look somewhat like this. So you can see as we get down to closer to failure, this skyrockets up. Now, what most people do is they stop around this point here. So you can see there's not much stimulus there. This is why we want most of our sets around here, anywhere from 3 to 0. With the stimulus, yes, the stimulus is high, but what also is high as we get down to this end is fatigue. So fatigue jumps up as we get closer to failure. So we're not going to take all of our sets to failure. If we've done that, we'll run into issues of recovery and fatigue. So what we want to do is spend most of our time here, 3, 2, 1 reps in the tank. Sometimes, yes, going to 0, so we can work out what our failure point is, but not always spending too much time there, or else we'll run into the issue of fatigue, won't be able to recover it between our sets after the session. So to fix mistake 2, not training close to failure, simply train close to failure. The more times you get closer to this end, the better at it you're gonna get. And next time you do have them hard sets you wanna stop, just keep pushing through. I guarantee you're gonna get a lot more reps than you think. And rather than being around this area, you're going to be closer to this area, maximizing your stimulus, which is going to maximize your muscle growth. Mistake 3 is doing too much volume. I see some people doing 5, 6, even 7 sets of the same exercise. So it comes to a point where you're not achieving more muscle growth by doing more sets, you're just creating more fatigue. So we have our graph drawn back up here. On the left, we got stimulus again. On the bottom, we got sets. So it's not perfectly drawn up, but it's going to roughly look like this. You can see here at set 1, our stimulus shoots up a lot. Set 2, from set 1, jumps up a lot again. From set 2 to 3, we still get a decent jump. Nothing too crazy, not like we did from set 1 to 2, but we get a good amount. From set 3 to 4, we're not really getting that much of a jump. A little bit, nothing too crazy. And from set 4 to 5, again, only a small amount at this point. And we actually start going backwards when we get to like set 7 and 8. Now, me personally, I spent so much time here. I thought you had to do 4 sets of bench press, 4 sets of dumbbell bench press, which is the exact same movement essentially. And all of a sudden, I'm doing 8 sets for the one muscle group in the exact same motion. I was spending a lot of time here actually going backwards. So instead, what I do now and what I'd recommend you do I spend most of my time around this 2 to 4 set area, with most of them being more like 2 to 3 sets. This way, I'm going to get the best bang for my buck. I'm going to save a lot of energy, junk volume, and I can put that towards other muscle groups or even other exercises for that muscle group I'm trying to target. So mistake 3, too much volume. All you have to do there is just to reduce the amount of sets you're doing per exercise. Keep it around that 2 to 4 set area and you'll be all good. Mistake 4, I don't want to spend too long on this one because I'm sure most of you heard this before, but it is really important, and that is ego lifting. All you're doing is lifting an unrealistic amount of weight, which is going to wreck your range of motion, your form's going to look shocking, and your tempo is probably going to be really fast. I think most people do this so they can look tough, strong, cool, whatever, but it actually has the opposite effect. It makes you look like you can't train, it makes you look weaker. So instead, just drop the weight back, hit the ranges of motion and the tempo that you should be, and then you're going to maximize muscle growth and look like you can actually train in the process. Mistake 5, not resting long enough between your sets. I know it might make it feel like you're working harder, and you probably are working harder. You probably got a great pump too, you're probably sweating a bit more, you can feel a burn, but these things don't mean you're growing more muscle. What it does mean is you're reducing your performance, how much weight and reps you could actually lift, which in return is going to reduce your muscle growth. So what you want to do is make sure you're resting long enough between your sets so you can perform at your best, lift more weight, lift more reps. Now, I'll typically recommend anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes for most of the accessory stuff, maybe slightly less if it's smaller muscle groups like a calf or a bicep where you can recover a little bit faster, maybe slightly more if it's on some pressing type of movements. Now, the big compounds like squatting, leg press, deadlifts and that, you might want to rest a lot more. Maybe somewhere between 3 to 6 minutes, probably even pushing the higher end if it's a really fatiguing set like a barbell squat. Like I said, it feels like you're working harder, but you're just shooting yourself in the foot and you're not actually progressing as much as you think you are. So rest long enough between your sets. So there you have it, the 5 biggest mistakes that are stopping you from growing as much muscle as you can. Fix these and your results will accelerate, and you won't spend years wasting your time like I did. Now, if you're serious about growing muscle, losing body fat and improving your life, I offer one-to-one coaching with the link in the description. Or if you prefer to train alone, I've got the Muscle Growth Blueprint program in the description, focused on growing as much muscle as possible. I'll see you in the next one.